Just going live, and I need to start.
Well, I've got it. Okay, video.
Recording in progress.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order. This is the Appraisal Planning Commission meeting for September 28th, 2023. It's properly advertised, noticed in the newspaper, and posted on the front door of Town Hall. We do have a quorum of 4 members. We've got one more on the way. This is new for us because we've never done the electronic meeting attendance screen, but Mr. Griffin has graciously agreed to meet. He couldn't be here physically. He's here with us electronically. Commission members, y'all have a copy of the agenda for today. Are there any additions or deletions? Here none, is there a motion to accept or approve the agenda? Motion by Ms. Evans, second by Ms. Helms. Any discussion? Here none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the agenda for today, raise your right hand. Neil, you're gonna have to vote.
I would love to vote, but I can't get the video to work.
Okay.
But I vote to approve.
Okay.
If I can do that with,
Down in the bottom left-hand corner, is it showing the?
it says, stop video. So if I click it, it puts the little line through it,
Puts your name up there
then start. I've got my name up there twice.
Yeah, I see that.
His laptop doesn't have a little slide cover over the camera.
I'm not exactly sure how to.
You don't have a little slide cover over the camera. I mean, I've got one that covers us up whenever.
No, it's on. The light is on. I can see it.
All right, can we move on, Shane?
The Zoom is a pain in the tuchus.
I recognize the voice. Do we want to, the ordinance does say that they have to be available by video. Do you want to wait on Jacob to get here? And
It says be a little longer than expected. I'm
Okay.
with the contractor, so. Did you see him on the screen to start the meeting?
No, all I had was black
Could you not
screen.
do that through his cell phone so that you can?
Sure, he could FaceTime.
But through his, FaceTime through his phone so you can see that it's him speaking?
Well, I still need the Zoom because it records.
You have to record his face?
Yes, I need to record that portion of the meeting so that
So,
I can see
can
his.
you leave
emotions
Zoom,
and that
can you
type of-
leave Zoom going and FaceTime
Yes.
in that
Yes,
voice?
if he wants to do that.
I'm gonna call on this.
He's welcome to do it on my town phone if he wants to.
You want it on? If you wanna do it,
Yeah.
yeah, FaceTime him when you have on that. Neil, he's gonna FaceTime you on your town phone, so we'll have your face. We gotta leave Zoom running though, so just answer a phone call, and we'll stick it up here so we can see your face.
After you answer, then I'll hit the FaceTime button.
But you're gonna have to mute one of them.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do this all by.
Yeah.
Am I pretty?
A disaster is on the phone.
Can you see me?
I can see you. Okay, Neil, mute your actual phone.
We'll hear you across the speakers on the.
Okay, was that one?
Yep.
Okay.
I was checking the settings. See myself as the active speaker when speaking. I've got that set up. I'm
We can hear you and see you. We
hide non-video participants, receiving video, sending video.
We can see you and hear you, so if you want to go
If we
ahead.
can see you and hear you. All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda for today, raise your right hand.
Okay.
Neil, is it unanimous?
It's in my hand.
Be verbal too, all right? All right, that passes. The approval of the August 2023 minutes, if everybody get a copy of the August minutes, any additions or deletions? All right, here none, any discussions? All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the August 2023 minutes, please raise your right hand or say aye.
He raised his hand.
Okay, all right. Let's approve. It's time for public comments. Do we have any public comments? Did you want to speak, Mr.?
I think we'll cover it. You got it covered.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? Public comments? All right, hearing none, we'll close public comments. Commission items, the permanent zoning of properties at Maynard Street, Usher Street, and Clark Street. And this is the subdivision that Mr. Dylan Melton's built?
Yeah, with Titan Stones.
Okay, this is for permanent zoning.
That's correct.
And it's currently temporarily zoned as,
GRR,
okay,
General Residential Restricted.
and what are you proposing that we,
Hey, when you're fading in and out, I can't hear you.
so what are you proposing that we make it permanent zone?
I say, my proposal is to leave it as GRR.
Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Sly on that? We already made it temporarily GRR, just let's make it permanently GRR. We'll make that form of motion then.
Yes, I make a motion to leave that as GRR permanently.
Okay, is there a second? Second by Ms. Evans, motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for question. All those in favor of making the permanent zoning of the properties at Maynard Street, Usher Street, and Clark Street permanently GRR, raise your right hand. Neil?
He's got his hand raised.
Okay. Now,
I agree.
all right. Next item is the old rabbit plant annexation.
All right, I'm gonna get the map. All right, for the annexation, there is, the town limits lines run through the center of the building, which leaves this triangle piece here in the county, and the rest of the parcels in the town.
Which way's north? Can you point that out?
Oh.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. And we have a proper request for annexation.
We do. As far as I can see, everything's in order with it.
Redford Enterprises.
And Mr. Gregory Stevens here is the one working with this project.
Okay.
He's proposing to buy this from Redford Enterprises.
Mr. Stevens, so tell us a little bit about the project.
Okay, what we were originally trying to do was do a full meat processing facility there. And we had some testing done that the city wanted done for the water testing to see what the output to the sewer system was.
Okay.
And they came back to us with a request for a pre-treatment water plant, and the cost of that was out of budget. So what we did is we changed our perspective of what we were trying to do, in that we took the kill floor and all of that out of the project. So basically what we are now, do I need to come up there?
No, you keep talking,
Okay,
put the volume down on the phone.
oh, okay.
So don't make it.
So basically what we will be is a custom meat processing facility.
Okay.
And we expect to put in a meat counter. So if you don't like what you get at Food Lion, you can come see me and we would have custom meat for you. Let's say you wanted to have a big party and you wanted tomahawk steaks.
Talk me into it.
So in essence, from what I'm hearing from them, it will turn into more of a butcher shop and less of
Out
a,
in the front.
Yes.
well, butcher shop.
There won't be any animal slaughter on the property or.
No.
And no holding live animals either, right?
No holding live animals.
Nothing, unless I bring my puppies in there or something. The way that we changed it was to offset the cost of the pre-treatment facility. We have another facility. Oh, I see a name on there now. Maybe he's got it. We have another facility in South Carolina, down near Greenville. And so what we will do is we will have, let's say you have cows and you want to get a cow processed, that's great. You won't bring it here. You'll bring it to a central location, whether that be my farm, and I own Rocky River Farms in Monroe, or you'll bring it to the central location. We will take those cows to the processing facility in Greenville, South Carolina. So they'll be trucked there. Then they'll be processed there and hung to cool overnight. We will then take a reefer truck, refrigerated truck, we will pick those meat halves up, bring them back here to be cut. So basically, Food Lion or Harris Teeter or Publix, they're buying hunks of meat and then cutting it up and putting it in their case. That's how they do it. We call it box meat. We will do that, but we will also service a whole cow. So if you want to process a cow for your families or whatever, or let's say you want to buy a package and you have 4 kids, and each one wants a quarter of a cow, we can supply that for you.
Okay.
We can either get you the cow or you can bring us the cow to our locations. We will take it, have it killed, processed, put in a reefer truck, bring it back. We will be the only meat processing facility within a 2 to 3 hour radius, including North Carolina and South Carolina. Okay, so we went to Kingstree. That is the closest one in South Carolina, and it's 2.5 hours away. And that's where we did our water test. The owner of that was very gracious and allowed us to come in and do that. And so we hope to bring people from North and South Carolina into this facility, and there's a lot of farms, a lot of cattle farms in this area. So we're trying to meet the market and help the public in that way. Any other questions?
So on the question of annexation, is there a motion to approve, to recommend annexation?
And David, I will make a note, because I haven't had time to do the public hearings on, those will be done before council,
Okay,
before second reading.
okay. So we just need to make a recommendation.
Yes, we'll make a recommendation.
Motion to recommend, or not recommend, motion to recommend by Ms. Evans, is there a second?
I second.
Second by Ms. Helms. Any discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All those in favor of recommending annexation, we'll call it the old rabbit plant. What's it gonna be called?
Carolina's Custom Meat Cutters.
Carolina's Custom Meat Cutters, okay?
Yes.
It's a lot better than the old rabbit.
Yeah, it sounds like.
I don't know that name, I think it's gonna stick forever.
By the way, they're gonna renovate the facility out there and make, you know.
Yes, I have,
Yeah, it's gonna be.
it's gonna need some work.
Yeah, it's gonna need some.
Um,
All those in favor? All right, that's, motion passes.
Neil, was that a yay or a nay for you?
I don't think you heard it.
Neil, can you hear me?
Are we voting now?
Are you in favor or not in favor of, annexation?
Exactly where is this located?
This is the old rabbit plant on South.
Is it on the bypass?
Yes. Half the building is in town already and half of it is not.
Everybody's, all approved of it.
We got 3 yes votes.
Oh, I'm gonna vote no.
Okay, all right, so, one dissenting vote. So, the motion carries, so we'll recommend annexation.
I mean, the motion carried anyway, so.
All right, so, the next item is the old, we're gonna call it Carolina Custom
Meat Cutters.
Meat Cutters, rezoning. So this is, what's there now is general commercial?
No, what's there now, on this, all this purple right here is, all basic industrial.
Basic industrial.
And the Redfern's also on this property here, which is also basic industrial. We're proposing, because it will be contiguous to, general commercial to,
You guys are gonna have to speak up, I can't hear you.
so Neil, the current zoning is, basic industrial, and the proposal is to change it to general commercial for the Carolina Meat Cutters. And I think at some point, they're also gonna subdivide that lot, and the original owner's gonna keep the top portion of it, and then, Mr. Stevens here's gonna keep the bottom portion. That, they don't have that,
We don't have
they
that.
don't have that done yet, but that is their desire at some point.
So the general commercial, putting up the general commercial be the appropriate classification for allow that type of operation?
Yes, based on what I see, general commercial, because it would be a butcher style shop, so it would be more of a, I think general commercial would fit that.
All right. So the question is there a motion to approve rezoning from basic industrial to general commercial for this piece of property? Is there a motion to that effect?
And by going general commercial, he would not be allowed to bring the animals on there, because
I make a motion to approve that.
Motion by Ms. Helms, second by Ms. Evans. Is there any discussion? Any discussion, Neil?
No, I don't have any discussion.
Okay. All right, I'll call for question. All those in favor of approving or recommending the rezoning from basic industrial to general commercial for this property, please raise your right hand.
Basic industrial to what?
General commercial.
Oh, okay.
That general commercial would prevent having any live animals on site. Is that a yea or a nay?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, sir.
That's a nay.
Okay. All right, one dissenting vote. The motion carries 3-1. Next item is lot subdivision at 308 West Sewell Street. You all have a letter.
Lot subdivision at 308 West Sewell Street.
You have a letter and a plaque here. He's gonna put that on the screen there, Neil.
Well, Neil can't see the screen.
All right, so, Mr. Chad Rivers, are you Chad?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This piece of property here, it's got, 3 mobile homes on it. And he wants to subdivide that so that he can put in another.
What is the subdivision for?
So he can put in the way that the lot is now, he couldn't put another mobile home on it to replace one.
Yeah, there was formerly a mobile home on the lot. Chad, do you know how many years back that's, or how long that's been back?
Oh, it was probably about a year. She probably been dead about a year or so.
Okay.
It's not.
So on the GIS picture there, you can see there was a mobile home. Neil, I'm gonna see if I can share the screen just so you may can possibly.
Okay.
We wouldn't be changing the zoning, we would just be allowing him to subdivide the property.
Oh, that's good, I can see it.
You can see, okay. So, Neil, there at the bottom, right there at Sewell Street, you see the mobile home at the back of that lot there?
The line's running through it.
I just got my video to come on.
Okay. It's the one gonna be in orange whenever it finally comes up. There at the bottom where there's a mobile home there, he's proposing cutting those 2 parcels and making the back portion one larger parcel to be able to accommodate another mobile home in that area. So he's looking to subdivide the parcels is what he's doing.
Is that on the left-hand side?
Should be dead center of your
Middle of the
screen.
screen.
Should be here, I'll move the mouse over the top of it so you can. I'll find my mouse, there it is. We're talking about right here.
Oh, so you want to subdivide that lot?
Yeah, so he's wanting to take and build, draw a line here, which would be the subdivision line, and then combine these 2 here to be able to put a mobile home back in this location. Because the ordinances require each mobile home to be on an individual lot.
Right.
And that single lot's not big enough for the.
Yeah, because the single lot's not big enough for proposed home.
Gotcha.
Questions for Mr. Rivers?
I don't have any questions on that one.
Okay. So is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Ms. Evans,
And a second.
second by Ms. Helms. Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, I call the question of the lot subdivision, allowing Mr. Rivers to subdivide that lot on Sewell, at 308 Sewell Street to accommodate another mobile home, but it still has to meet the zoning ordinances of being less than 10 years old. You can't just bring one like a 1970s mobile
Gotcha.
home. So,
Gotcha.
all those in favor?
Neil, is that a yes?
Yeah, I'm in favor. Can you see me on the Zoom
No.
session now?
No, well, I can try. I shared my screen and so it pulled it over.
The motion carries, so we'll move on to the next
Yeah.
item. All right, next item, sidewalks at Laney Farm subdivision. Okay, so we have a letter here, Mr. Sly, today's date. Shane, good morning. Following up our conversation yesterday afternoon, please find below language addressing administration of the sidewalk fee in lieu that we are proposing for the ditch section streets at Laney Farms. With each single-family detached lot building permit application, the home builder will pay $700 fee in lieu of any and all sidewalk construction for the single-family detached phases of the project. The town of Page shall use these payments to fund public sidewalk, park, and/or greenway improvements.
Mr. Scott, on Monday, would you like to
Sure, thank you.
come speak and present? Neil, you can still see, right? I can't pull my screen back over right now, but you can still see.
I can see you in the little screen.
Actually, I see you in the little screen. Hold tight. Let's make it big.
It says that you've, that the administrator has stopped, screen.
Yeah, I did, I'm just trying to get your Zoom back up now.
Thank you.
About time to go, that's when we get there, got time.
Yeah, we use Zoom at school for virtual students, and I never did like it.
All right, Neil, I'm gonna hang up the phone now since we got your video.
Okay.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing us to present to you tonight. My name is Scott Monday. I'm with NBR Wiring Homes, the home builder for Laney Farms. And just to let you know, we tend to think of development as really a large jigsaw puzzle, if you will. There's lots of pieces that have to fit together to make a good development. That's planning. You all see the site plans and so forth, reviewing the preliminary plans. Also construction plans, field construction, marketing, sales, home building, it all has to fit together to make a good development. And a good development, the pieces fit together, and developments that have problems, the pieces don't tend to fit together. So we've identified what we believe is a piece that doesn't fit that well for Laney Farms, and that's what we'd like to speak with you about tonight. Specifically, that is the sidewalks in the single-family detached section that are associated with the ditch section roads, not the curb and gutter roads that are in the townhome section. So we're just talking about the ditch section roads. And so what happened from a design standpoint, once we follow the protocols for design, and Neil, can you see this okay? Neil, this is what I'm holding up, I can get close.
I can't see it at all, but
Okay. Okay, so you can't see it from a camera standpoint. So what, I have an exhibit, and you all have a copy of the exhibit in front of you, but just so you know, the sidewalk location is outside of the 66-foot right-of-way for the road. And the right-of-way for the road includes the ditch sections forward. So this is the right-of-way line here. You can see it in black. And then the sidewalk is located within a 10-foot electric utility and sidewalk easement. And the sidewalks are 5 feet wide and they're 2 feet behind the right-of-way. So what ends up happening is the sidewalks themselves or the edge of the sidewalk is only 8 feet from the front door of the home. And there's really two problems associated with that. One, first of all, is safety, because if the sidewalk is only 8 feet in front of the front door, I mean, that's about the distance that we are apart from each other here. It's very close to the front door. That's a safety concern. You can imagine being in the front of your house, and you see people really practically outside your window, and they're on the sidewalk. And you can imagine having a dog, like I imagine my dog, and the dog barks when someone's outside the house, the dog's gonna bark all day long. And so it's a safety concern. One should really not, and home buyers don't expect folks to be sort of right outside the front door on the sidewalk. That's just a very unusual circumstance. But there's another problem associated with the sidewalk location as well, and that is because of the location within the driveway, what you're really going to have are the cars that are parked in the driveway are going to block the sidewalk. This depiction shows compact cars, not even pickups or SUVs or anything bigger. This is a compact. This is the smallest the car can be. Notice in this case, it's barely off the back of the curb, is blocking the entire sidewalk, blocking the sidewalk, the same thing. Pickup trucks, anything, SUVs, anything like that, they're all going to block the sidewalk. So, in addition to the safety concern, there's not even room to park the cars in the driveway. If you left the rear end of the car out in the street, people would be walking on the sidewalk would be between your car and your house, which is also extremely unusual. So we're concerned about this from a home building standpoint. We think that it's easy to envision that our customers are not going to like this configuration. I think it's going to be a safety concern. They're going to complain to us, and ultimately, as the home builder, and ultimately we're going to say, well, this is the town has directed this, and then they're going to start complaining to the town. That's what we envision happening here. And we think we're all much better off eliminating this situation before that happens. And so what we propose tonight, and just to make sure you all understand, this isn't just an opportunity for us to try to reduce costs. It's not about that. We're just identifying something that, as experienced developers, this just isn't going to work very well. So what we'd like to do is to take the funds that we would spend in building the sidewalk and dedicate that or provide those funds to the town. And so the construct of the administration that you read out earlier, we're proposing $700 per home, a building permit goes to the town. That's going to add up to over $350,000 to the town that the town can use to build sidewalks wherever it wants within the town, improve parks within the town, or any civic uses like that, or greenways or what have you. So we had much rather, as I said, provide those funds to the town than sort of waste them here and cause safety and use concerns within the community. It's really that simple. And one thing I would ask in addition to that is, like, you know, and the way we think about it and the way I would really request you think about it is, you know, if you were living in here, it's not so much rule, but if you're living in here, you know, what would you think of the sidewalk right outside the front door? That's really kind of, you know, it's, and all the problems associated with it. That's really how we're appealing to you, if you will.
How far is I'm looking at the measurements, how far is the front of the home set back from?
The front setback is 15 feet, and so this is marked on here, and it's on the exhibit that we
And
have.
the remainder of that is the right of way.
That's correct. The right of way, so here's the road, and then the right of way, center line's here. The
So
right-
we couldn't push the sidewalks out to the edge of the road.
Correct, that's my understanding. Yeah. What has been directed to us is to place the sidewalk within this 10-foot easement that's outside the right of way. 2 feet behind the right of way, which is why once the sidewalk's 5 feet wide, it pushes it within 8 feet, and that's what's marked on the exhibit I handed you all. 8 feet from the back of the sidewalk to the front of the house. I think it's unintentional, it's inadvertent. I don't think anyone, you know, it's just one of those things you do it, and then you look up, and the recognition is it doesn't work very well, and that's really why we're here.
There'll be public utilities running under those sidewalks too.
There'll
Power, water, sewer running over those sidewalks.
Well, the idea is, I mean, there may be some underneath the sidewalk, but there's 2 feet behind the between the right-of-way and the sidewalk, there's 2 feet, and then behind the sidewalk, on the house side of the sidewalk, there's another 3 feet. So in theory, those utilities would be placed in those areas and then the sidewalk built after the fact. So if they end up being a little bit over some utilities, I think that's certainly possible because that's a pretty tight fit.
I'm just saying, if there ever had to be service work done or emergency repairs, you're going to be tearing up sidewalks.
This can be torn up. There's no way to get in there and repair it.
So the only way we can keep the sidewalks and move them out to the road would be to do curb and gutter, right?
That's my understanding.
So that's what planned in the development.
That's correct.
That was a ditch swale. You got, 5 miles of speed roads in there? That's what I'm thinking.
Something like that, yeah. But what we thought was, this could be an opportunity, though, to solve this problem, but also have the town benefit. I mean, $350,000 is a lot of money, $700 per home at building permit. That adds up to a lot of funds for the town to hopefully be, utilized in a very positive fashion for the town. So we're not just looking to do away with it, we're looking to say, hopefully the town can, make better use of that expenditure. Sorry about that.
Is it possible to move those houses back on the lot?
It's really not with the rear setbacks and the homes, where the rear side and front setbacks, the building envelope is pretty much uniformly sort of baked in. The other thing I would say about that is, and we looked at that, if the homes were to be moved back, which we can't do because of the other setbacks, the problem that you still have is the sidewalk would be further from the home, but it would still be blocked by the cars in the driveway. And basically unusable. I can tell you from experience in developing a lot of neighborhoods, it's hard enough when the sidewalk is in the normal place, like behind curb, it's hard enough to keep people to keep their cars off the sidewalk. HOA has a battle all the time. Please move your truck. They'll leave notes, people complain, that happens a lot. In this case,
It's gonna be impossible.
it's gonna be impossible. So even moving the house back, it's a great idea, and if we did look at that, but it's still, it's not gonna stop the sidewalks from being blocked, which is unfortunate, and, we just think it's just best not to go down that road and just do something that we know is gonna be a problem. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, is just, in our business, is just avoid problems before the problems.
Yeah, it's better.
Do these houses have garages?
Yes,
They're single car garages. That's gonna be, it still have, most people have more than one vehicle. Just,
yeah, it's just an unfortunate thing. What we try to do and work with the town is just identify a way that, can solve it and still have the town benefit from it.
Neil, were the pictures of those?
Will that money go into the impact fee fund?
No.
So it can be used by all the support groups in the town?
Neil, what they're proposing is green space or further sidewalks or something along those lines. So it would not go into impact fee money. I would ask the council would earmark it for additional green spaces on the north end of town.
I just don't see how, I don't see how you can do it that way. That's gonna be if I live there, that would be a nightmare.
And that's why we ask you to thank you for just imagining you being here, because that's how we try to look at it as well, as opposed to just ordinance. Like, what's it gonna be like to live there? That's how we look at all the
We
community.
could move them out to the,
Well,
we just can't do it. I mean,
No,
I get it.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Just
Yeah, that's where we are.
not putting hard decisions on that. Well, we don't make the decision, we just recommend, so.
Yeah, understood.
What's the pleasure of the commission?
I make a recommendation to,
So without the sidewalk,
Neil still.
people will still be walking down that area, but there's no designation of where they should walk unless they walk out in the road, which I think is a dangerous thing. I don't know.
It would be the same thing we have at Amberley 2 right now. Ditch swales and no sidewalks.
And higher density.
David, I didn't hear what you said.
It'll be the same situation we have at Amberley 2 now, where there are no sidewalks. This is ditch swale profile in the front of all those homes. So if they're walking, they're on the asphalt with no sidewalks.
But the lots are much smaller.
Yes.
That's it.
I mean, having seen that all options have been explored, and I believe they have, I would make a motion to accept the $700 fee in lieu of. And,
The earmark for, as written.
right, and not have the sidewalks there.
Okay, there's a motion. Second by Ms. Evans. Any further discussion? Question, are y'all starting on the back over here by 207, or are y'all starting on the?
More of the front, more on the 601 side.
Okay,
Yeah,
just wondering.
sure, of course.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of accepting the proposal for the fee in lieu, $700 per home, to be earmarked for public sidewalk, park, and/or greenway improvements only. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 3, Neil.
I'm going to vote no because I'm not confident the money will be used by the town for what it's supposed to be used for. And I'm also not sure I like the idea of no sidewalk. It's a slippery slope. We start there and where we're gonna stop, no sidewalks anywhere. So I'm voting no.
I understand your sentiments on it. So the motion carries.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is amending our current zoning ordinance to add definitions and regulations for triplex, quadplex structures, as well as mixed-use structures where commercial and residential use is indicated. I've read the zoning ordinance that we currently have, and it left some gray area where there were some things that were not spelled out specifically. And part of that was single-family dwellings, one and two family dwellings, and multifamily dwellings. There was no mention, it's not stated as multifamily dwellings, it was 5 or more. So it left 3 and 4s out of the mix. And so the question was amending the zoning ordinance to address those. My suggestion would be to just make it simple and clean, is that it's 1 and 2 family dwellings or it's multifamily dwellings. If it's more than a duplex, it's a multifamily dwelling. Now, if y'all have some ideas on that, I think that keeps it clean. If you say a multifamily dwelling as defined in the currently adopted International Building Code. If you said currently adopted, it wouldn't have to be tied to a single date, because the town adopts the International Building Code as it moves forward.
Yep.
Any discussion on that, or is there a, I'm just trying to not cloud up the zoning ordinance with more, like create another classification or another, having to make another table. If we just say it's 1 and 2 family dwellings, which is a single family home or a duplex. Duplexes are not allowed in every zoning district. 1 and 2 family dwellings, or they're multifamily. The multifamily is anything from 3 to 300.
I think it's strange that multifamily didn't include 3 and 4 to begin with.
So I think,
So the way that worked, there's one section where it talks about 5 or more. And then in the very back of the book, in the definitions, it talks about multifamily as being 3 or more. So there's some cleanup stuff that really needs to happen there. We need to define that a little better and make that a lot cleaner.
do y'all think that is a viable solution to make it clean?
I think it is.
Family dwellings or multifamily, and you just, you clean that part up.
Right, I think it is.
And I make a motion to change that to 3 and 4.
That makes sense to me. I mean,
So the motion is to amend the current zoning ordinance definitions as 1 and 2 family dwellings, which is single family homes and duplexes. Anything more than a duplex is a multifamily dwelling, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6, or 300.
And I think what we need to do is in section 4 there, of the zoning ordinance, we need to go in there and actually show that definition in that section, because that's where it gets to talking about multifamily.
That's where we turn when people ask us questions, staff. We have to always refer back to the text of the zoning ordinance, because that's what matters.
So it's anything more than a 1 and 2 family dwelling is a multifamily dwelling as defined by the currently adopted International Building Code.
And then also make a note in section 4 to refer to the definitions, or either state multifamily is defined as 3 or
Anything
more.
more than a 1 or 2 family dwelling.
There's some text cleanup that needs to be done, for
Yeah.
sure.
So we good with that? So I'll
Yeah.
she made a motion, you made a second, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Neil, you in favor of that, cleaning that up?
Yeah, I'm in favor of that.
So the next part of that was, mixed use structures for commercial and residential use is indicated. So that's really a gray area, because it only, you're talking about, commercial with residential abutment. We don't have a whole lot of places in town you can do that currently. That doesn't preclude somebody from wanting to try it. I know that when Mr. Barano was here a couple of months ago,
Mhm.
he discussed the development in Rock Hill or Fort Mill that they did a lot of this with. Can we get, you think we could table this for now and get his language on how to write that?
Yeah, we can reach out to some of these other places and get their ordinances and see,
Because that's.
and he may have a model,
Whatever.
he may have a model ordinance on that.
That's, if we can find a model ordinance on that, I think if we look at it, if there's anything we need to tweak.
And I may reach out to, Horry County and maybe even Columbia too, because as we was talking during that training, you know, we mentioned, the old Air Force Base down at the beach, and we also mentioned that development there on Clemson Road, that are, you know, some of those, they're doing the same type of thing, so.
So I'll make a motion, we table that portion until our next meeting, and Mr. Sly can get some information from Charlie Barano about that. Was there a second on that, tabling that?
I second.
Second, any discussion? All those in favor of tabling that for now?
That's all.
Okay, so that takes care of the new zoning district for triplex and quadruplexes, we've covered that already. Review and discussion of the bypass overlay draft. So the questions we had the last time, Amy, were on the building heights and the setbacks. And we discussed keeping the setbacks the same as what we have now. But the question we have for Tom, and he was out, was restricting the building heights. The language we were going to use on restricting the building heights to 60 feet.
Yes. In the current zoning ordinance, commercial buildings are limited to a height of 60 feet. Even though it's an overlay zone, it'll still fall under the zoning ordinance rules and regulations. Give me 1 second. From modify one, we have to modify the other. I guess I'm reading.
We want to make sure we weren't trying to conflict. Because if we did have a hotel that decided they wanted to come build here, build a 4-story hotel, it wouldn't be allowed in this overlay district due to the height restriction.
Yes, under section A5 in the bypass overlay, building height shall be limited to 35 feet. We previously agreed to add except for hotels and industrial buildings. And in the current zoning ordinance, commercial buildings are limited to a height of 60 feet. Is that, do we want to go with that?
So
From the fire department standpoint, that's why we asked.
a little bit of feedback on that. Let's say we had another Cabraco industry, like the foundry,
Yes.
coming wherever on the bypass. That work process tower down there is a little over 60 feet. So they wouldn't be able to do that under this current, but they could always request a variance if
Yes.
they needed 6 feet or 12 or whatever, but I can't imagine a 70-something foot building being built, but who knows what future holds, you know. So as a practical matter, keeping things 50, 60 and under, it solves quite a few headaches, so to speak.
So the 60 that we agreed, we changed, we just agreed to change it except for, but we need to, I think the issue was, we need to settle a number. We can't just put 35 feet except for hotels and industries. We have to specify hotels and industries must not exceed this amount of feet. We have to specify a number. So because 60 is already in the ordinance, I think we will put 60 in the, put 60 in the bypass overlay ordinance as well.
Believe it or not, Matthews is 60 feet. Did some checking. every time the hospital needs to add a floor or whatever,
You have to get around.
it's a 2-year process to get another floor put on.
I think that was the only thing that we had outstanding on the overlay.
That was all that was in our minutes, for the review and discussion of that. We had the,
Setbacks.
well, we talked about not having a ladder truck. That's why we were gonna discuss the specific numbers for the height in the September meeting. Wouldn't a not ladder truck cover a 60-foot building? Like, what if
No.
the Racco caught fire now?
We still need the function, the core functions for the fire department's capabilities to have truck or ladder company operations, and that's a deficient area that we've worked on for years. We're closer to getting one now than ever, but I wouldn't say it's imminent. Hopefully in the near future, you know, we just have to do the best we can. Which, literally, is that a fair statement, Shane?
Mm-hmm.
Council's aware of our needs.
Okay.
That was our,
Well, okay, well, I'll get that draft to you.
Okay.
With the changes we-
I wanted to mention, Dave, you discussed if there's anything else needs to be done in this bypass overlay. Went back to my notes and I did notice a thing, and I struck through most of them because you guys cleaned it all up and kind of massaged it how you wanted, and it's a pretty straightforward document. There was a notation in there that reminded me, we touched on this just briefly, and it's been a while back. Well, it was more when we were having a general discussion about the need for the bypass overlay. So, for example, you can't have an automobile dealership uptown anymore, so there'll be more interest out on the bypass to put in a used or new car lot, etc. And there was some brief discussion held quite a long time ago about, well, do we need paved parking lots? Or is dirt and grass and gravel okay? Do we need parking spaces lined out? I mean, what do we want our car lots to look like? Because we're gonna have them out there eventually. More car lots. It's gonna happen, because you can't put one anywhere else in town. So if it's on the bypass, you guys should do some, it's not that it has to be done tonight, but there should be some consideration going forward. Is right now, we have almost nothing on the books regarding, like the used lot down here, the gentleman was trying to do and brought in the used thing. He was just, he's gonna pour some gravel out on the ground on part of it and park cars. And if that's what you want our car lots to look like, then there you go. But if not, there are model provisions in other towns' ordinances that say, oh, wait a minute, we want a paved parking lot if you're gonna have a auto sales lot here. Which, by the way, part of our lots are paved where people sell cars, and part aren't, but.
yeah, some of them weren't, but they paved or, along the way.
Yeah.
They didn't open that way originally. Is it I'm uneducated about this, is it a huge expense for asphalt, gravel? Is that a huge expense for a car lot parking lot?
It would be substantial expense. So
If we
remember,
require that, is that going to your businesses from coming,
it would probably,
when they never have a car lot?
well, I think you would have them. I think it would limit a really small startup operation from. So the Ted Vitt Motor Company property down here on the bypass. There's a group there looking at, they're fixing it up some now. There's a group looking at putting cars back out there. Well, that thing's been paid from day one.
Right.
And you make your own assessments about what it looks like, it doesn't look like, but imagine that being a grass field with an office sitting in it. That's what it could be for the next one that's built on the bypass.
Do we, I don't know, this might not be in the town limits, but do we have a car lot on the bypass out going towards Jefferson that has a gravel lot?
151 cars is, but it's not in town, right?
I think it's out of town.
Yeah, it's not in town.
Okay. But then we
And-
could scale as to how we think that looks, but.
It's really, what the minimum standards need to be. It would be my assessment of what you guys need to figure on going forward. So So even if y'all recommend to move forward with the changes, the whole deal to council and all that, then it's not that you can't amend it in the future.
Right.
But the only note I had that was completely left unrevisited, so to speak, was pavement and car lots and such businesses, and I had a question mark there.
Let's revisit that.
This, what's here is parking, off-street parking shall comply with Article 3 of this zoning ordinance. Landscaping of parking lot shall comply with Article 5 of this zoning ordinance. Shared parking areas shall be permitted. The reduction in required parking spaces at peak demand periods for proposed lane uses do not occur at the same time periods. That has nothing to do with car lots, but it doesn't say what kind of materials. And there are places in here that describe building materials that we left in there. So I think we need to, if it's gonna be that specific, then, under building materials and designs, we just need to add what we think needs to be there for building materials and designs, or just say all parking lots have to be asphalt or concrete.
Are you referring? Yes. I guess
It's
see.
falling down whenever you're walking across a gravel parking lot, that's not safe for
Yeah.
your business anyway.
As you
That's
guys know,
something that
it's really a can of worms, you know what I mean? So you do it for the car lots, or you're talking about having to pave all parking. So it can get to be a pretty broad conversation.
Well, all parking lots.
Our church parking lot is gravel, and it's been gravel since 2010 when we put it there. Our goal is to get it paved, but it's a goal that we're working towards.
Yep.
But we're gravel.
Okay, so,
It really boils down to what do you want your bypass to look like?
Right.
That's about the bottom line.
Yeah, we're sort of off the bypass. We're kind of, in town. We're on Pearl Street, but still.
so you want to add how do you want to word that?
I like the idea of concrete or asphalt.
Parking surfaces, shall be constructed of concrete or asphalt, or type construction. How do you?
If you do that, are you gonna do minimum thicknesses and that type of
Yeah, that's
stuff?
what I'm saying, you get in.
Yeah, there's a whole can of worms.
Other communities have solved this piece of the puzzle, and I think we should look for a good model to model one after personally.
Okay, all right, well, let's table it till next meeting, we'll see if we can find some.
I know Rock Hill, Fort Mill, places like that have things in place.
Yeah.
I'm sure Horry County does.
Can you see if you can find some of
Yeah,
that?
sure.
All right. Okay, I think that's the only other thing was the parking lots we need to do. I'm sure we'll, like I said, we can pass it, and if we need to amend it, at some point we can amend it. We're not gonna have every possible outcome.
That's true. Things,
in one
odd
document.
scenarios are gonna pop up here and there. Case by
Okay.
case.
So that moves us to old business, proposed truck route. I think we can take that off our old business because the signage is up. I noticed it now because I'm looking for it, but the signage is up. And I don't know, can you get some kind of measure from the PD on
I'll reach out,
what they're tracking?
I'll reach out to them.
Or,
I hadn't seen this sign yet.
and,
I must be riding around
I see them.
my place.
and I've still been in some conversation with DOT, and they even made the point, you can change it, but until you enforce it,
that's what
Right.
then you're still in the same boat.
Yeah.
Even if you change it from business route to truck route, or moving truck route,
Or
you
it's not
still,
gonna get out till somebody gets in trouble for it.
right. The enforcement's still a big part of that.
Next item was fire hydrants out on Maynard and Highway 9 at South Point. Any movement on that?
I know it's on their schedule, they've started getting some folks in, so hopefully we can get that moving
Okay,
soon.
all right.
Do we wanna, we're gonna leave this on whole business until it's done, until they say, yep, we've got the hydrants and we're putting them in.
Other item, staff report. Everything from
Council meeting next Tuesday.
council meeting next Tuesday, all right. And that's gonna have a public hearing on the Sewell Street
Yes.
project over here.
Yes, it will.
I know Mr. Sterling, that's kind of
Yeah.
some of his interest in being here today. I spoken with him Tuesday, told him kind of how the process was worked and going. But that public hearing will be Tuesday, that's at 7 or at 6:30?
7.
At 7.
Yes.
7 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yep.
Uh,
And that will be, I think I've got that right before the public comment section. So they'll do a public hearing and then go into public comment and then into the rest of the meeting.
You got next meeting TBA due to holiday festivities in town.
I think we're having, isn't that the trick or
That's
treat?
spooktacular.
Yeah.
But October 30th.
I'm gonna be involved
I
in
mean,
that.
we can still do that because is it, no, maybe not, it's 5 to 8, isn't it?
We haven't set a time, council's supposed to do that. Typically, we do 2 hours when we do it, so we typically do 6 to 8.
Oh,
So,
okay,
So
okay.
but-
let's, let me look at the calendar. So we'll-
5's pretty early.
yeah.
Cleo, what you dressing up as?
If you want to back,
Yes, let's come in costumes.
if you want to back it up to Monday, that would be
Good
it.
with what you got on.
So that will be
Pizza.
October the 25th?
It's the Tuesday before.
Yeah, it'll be
24th is the Tuesday before.
Hold on, I'm on the wrong one. October. All right, so you got the 23rd is Monday,
Yes.
24th is the day they're having, so the 23rd, that would still put us before the council
You
meeting.
can do the 23rd or the 30th, if you want to do the day before. That's the vacuum cleaner, if you're wondering what that is.
I want, okay.
That-
Started panicking a bit. Fight or flight. I say the 23rd, just so if we
Okay.
have any recommendations
Yes.
to council, we've got time.
What's the matter with the 24th?
That's the day they're having the big thing uptown, the truck.
Well, 31st.
I thought that was,
Wait a minute, I thought it was.
That's the weekend.
31st is the last Tuesday, right?
yeah, but I think the stuff uptown, I thought it was on the weekend, which I don't have paper in front of me, so I'm just speaking out of turn.
Christmas one is on the weekend, but the Halloween one has always been on Halloween day unless it falls on a Sunday and then it's like the Saturday.
No, the actual trick or treating falls on the,
Oh,
yeah. I don't have the paper, but Kelly will be here tomorrow. I can get with y'all and y'all schedule up
okay.
if y'all want to do that.
I could do 24th or
I won't be able to be here on the 31st, but that don't mean y'all can't meet.
This is the 25th, do we know when the thing is?
The
Neil, do
20,
you have any idea when the thing is uptown, the spooktacular thing? I saw a sign for it somewhere.
The Halloween thing?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I figured it would be the 31st, but I remember I saw something on Facebook, but I don't remember when it is.
I thought it was the 28th, but I'm not
We
sure.
Hold on a
got
second.
two different events, trick or treating and a spooktacular.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
it's two different things.
Yes.
But- And that's still subject to council approval next week.
Okay, well, why don't we just wait until council talks about it, because we'll have plenty of time to set our date for our meeting.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, we can just do
Yeah.
that. All right. And that takes-
Dave, Tim said that the thing is Saturday the 28th uptown.
That's what I was thinking was the 28th.
Well, then let's just set it for 24th and be done with it.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so next meeting will be October the 24th. You want to move it out a little bit? You want to move it to 6, or do you want to move it to 5:30? 5:30 is a odd time.
Let's try 5:30. Shane's
Okay.
got a good little haul back to home.
Yeah, okay, so we'll say the 24th at 5:30 PM. Putting it on my calendar right now. All right, so the 24th of October at 5:30 PM will be the next regular scheduled meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn, is there a second? Second by Ms. Evans, any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adjourning, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Meeting